Well, hello, I'm Bob Dandry. This is Boring Guy Plays, and welcome back to Cities Skylines 2, where we are building Azure Delta. So it has been a few weeks since I've recorded a CS2 episode, that's my bad, but we're back now, and there's a couple of things I want to talk about. Firstly, in the last episode, I did talk about the Beachfront Properties asset pack, and I did say that, well, they should probably be giving this away for free. And it seems like, obviously, a lot of people were saying that, you know, it's a good, I think, show of goodwill to sort of get that out there as a free gift to those who've stuck around, even when there's been, well, quite a few missteps in the sort of release and early days of this game. And to their credit, Colossal Order and Paradox have listened. They have made this pack free and have now distributed it to all owners through the base game. So I'm really happy to see that, and hopefully that bodes well for the future in terms of how they're going to be handling community engagement, how they're going to be treating, you know, their fans, those who are sticking with this game despite the obviously very clear imperfections it has as it was released. But yeah, I just wanted to point that out because I think it's a good choice that they made in giving that out for free. The thing we now have access to is the traffic mod. Now, traffic is the successor to the Traffic Manager President Edition mod for Cities Skylines 1. Obviously, it's nowhere near as fully featured as the original mod. That's to be expected with a new game. I've been following its development very closely, so I'm glad to see it's out. We've also got the Traffic Light Enhancement mod that is now available on Paradox Mods. So throughout this episode, we will be making some changes to some of our busy intersections, things like that, to try and improve traffic flow. And I want to start out here with this spooey we built way back in maybe the first episode. And there are some changes we can make to make this a little bit better. It generally holds up pretty well, but just to make things, you know, I guess, a bit more polished, I want to make some changes to it. And we're going to start out using the traffic mod. And what I want to do, so this tool allows us to change our lane connectors, things like that. And I think it is a good shout to make our turns onto our motorway dedicated. And I think we also want to switch across our lanes that we'll be crossing. Of course, we're making some people a little bit unhappy doing that. It's all right. They can deal with it, shall we say. And we can also do or give the same sort of treatment over here as well. What we can do, we can remove unsafe movements as well. These are movements that aren't preferred and obviously have a sort of a heavy pathfinding penalty given to them by the game, but you know, cars still do make them. So I want to just remove those, just to keep this a little bit, I guess, a little bit nicer, a little bit more organized in how things are happening as well. We also want to change this over into a dedicated lane as well. Same treatment over here as well. So that is done. And second thing we want to do is use the traffic light mod to change the phases of this intersection here. So we want to add in some protected right turns. So we won't have these weird movements here where cars are just sort of pulling out, sitting in the middle of the intersection. This is a major intersection and we would not want protected turns on this whatsoever. So we will duck over into our road menu, and in road services, we can now use the traffic light tool. And as you can see, we can make a few different changes here. So I'm going to use protected right turns to start with, and we'll save that. And that should hopefully allow us, obviously it may take a little while to go into practice, but it looks like it's now working. And we can see we've got straight through traffic that is going through. And our turns, they're just, you know, sitting, waiting to head off. And as you can see, they're now turning. Another intersection that I think does deserve a bit of work is this one here. It's sort of on the main road between Palmer Square, Quokka Terrace area, and is the main sort of entrance to this mixed industrial residential area here. And I think we did the best with what we had at the time, or at least the skills we had at the time potentially. but it doesn't really work. It does back up quite a lot, and I think there's a lot we can do to make it a little bit cleaner and make the traffic flow a little bit better as well. So just looking through, I think we've got a couple of good options we can look at here. We could definitely expand this section here to a 4-lane road, and that will allow us to have this left here. Will allow us to get this left here as sort of a always on turn that you can always make. It won't impact the through flow of traffic. And we could potentially even see if we could maybe get a second right turn lane there. I don't know if that's required or not, but if we've got the room, we could, we should always, I guess, well, you shouldn't always over provision things, but I think it's probably an important, at least a stopgap measure. But let's see how this will work. So what are you right now? I think you are, yeah, that's what you are right now. So we could get a 4-lane highway in there. Like so. And I think we want to see if we can move this over a little bit so that we get, so we get the lane sort of ending in the right place rather than a merged left, which doesn't make a lot of sense. And of course, we're going to have to sort of carry this all the way along, aren't we? All right. Reasonably good. And now what we need to do here, we're going to need other way. Yep. Actually, no, that's hang on. That's fine, I think. So we can't actually get a second right turn here because we would need like a 3+1 road. I don't want to have 2 lanes coming in here. I don't think it makes any sense. So we are actually going to reverse some of the work we've done. Bad face. But that's okay. So what we'll then do is use our lane connector tool. We are going to disconnect this connection here. Other than that, that all works. I think we will remove unsafe as well, just because we're doing that. And with that done, we should be able to now use our traffic light tool. No, we don't have protected turns. That's unfortunate. I don't think split phasing does that. We will allow turning on red, which I assume will be left turn on red, which should partially fix that issue. It's not going to be the best. Other thing I want to do is reverse this bit here so that we can have our cars on the slip lane getting easy access rather than having to give way as well. Like so. That should now work pretty handily. Now, the other thing I want to do, I want to have another look at education. So, in our last episode, we obviously have spent a lot of time building this, I think, quite nice university. I think it works pretty well. But our elementary school capacity is terrible. There are plenty of kids in Azure Delta that are not even going to primary school. And that's a problem. So what I'd like to do a bit of a review of where our primary schools are sitting and to, put a fair bit of work into increasing the uptake and the availability of primary schools. So I'm noticing in our Azure Delta CBD area, we don't have... Where do we have primary schools? That's primary school. That one, yep. We've got 2 in a population of, well, it's going to be quite a massive population, isn't it? So we've got, 11,000... So getting close to 15,000, we've got 2 primary schools in there, which has 1,500, 2,500. So I think we need at least 1 more primary school in here, I think, to cover. We've got Town Hall. That could be an option. We do have space. We've got this little bit of land here off Daffodil Street that might be a good option. And there's good public transport links as well. So that is... I think something that we could definitely consider. I don't think we've got... Oh, no, we do have a stop here. So I think that it potentially is perfect, to be honest. So if we can get a flat section here. It's not that flat, is it? I think we can definitely flatten out Alyssa Street. So... might actually relay a fair bit of this, to be honest. But if we level the terrain off for that sort of level, we can get a grade up there, a bit more filling in, and then just do a little bit of smoothing around the edges, or a lot for that section there. We should have room to get an elementary school in. How are we looking? I think if we switch it around and maybe put it on a bit of an angle. I think that fits pretty well. Maybe make it an alley. Try and discourage major movements here. I put that facing the wrong way. And hopefully we can get sort of amenities on here. Make this a top class. I probably shouldn't say that. Not really a top class. Top of the range elementary school. And what's left? We need extension wings as well, I think. So I think that makes sense. We'll need to massage the terrain a little bit, as we quite often do when I'm building. But I didn't mean to do that. Overall, I think it works quite well. Might as well get a small car park in here as well, if we can get one. Maybe a medium? Yeah. And, wow. Okay, we've got people that are obviously wanting to use this school because, well, look at that. We're already pretty much full. Might get some vegetation in here as well. Actually might clear this out and do a little bit more sort of organized. We might get some apple trees here. We can, I don't know if apple trees would grow in whatever region this is supposed to be. But we could have like a little apple orchard. They're a little bit curved. These are not straight lines in the slightest, but I think it's alright. I think it's alright. Might also get some fencing along this road, just to stop the kids if they're out, you know. In the orchard from accidentally running out onto the road or something. There we go. Very nice, very nice. In fact, we might put walls along this entire road. This could be like the grounds of the school, I guess. And of course, they would probably be allowing like use of these grounds in like holidays and stuff. They do that in Australia, but just limiting access to it rather than. Ooh, we lost some. Oh yeah, okay, fair enough. That doesn't make sense. That's all right. That's fine. I think I'm happy with the idea of it anyway. So if we can just do the rest of that, and that should be okay, I think. And there we go. We've got our new elementary school set up in the town hall area. I think it is a good addition to this neighborhood. It's already full if we have a look. So I think what we're going to need to do is start to set some operating districts. I think this one will probably cover town hall and Azure Delta. Do we have some areas that aren't? No, okay. Town Hall, Azure Delta, Blackbird Square, potentially, I think will be our operating district for this one. And where else? We've got this one over here. We are going to extend that one, and this one will operate in Blackbird Square, Azure Delta, Elizabeth Glen. And this one here will operate in Azure Delta, Highcrest, Elizabeth Glen, and University of Azure Delta as well. Do we have any other schools over here? No. So I'm hoping this will help to sort of even out the usage, and it looks like these schools are already pretty full, so we may potentially in not too long need to get another one in. Looking at our overall education rates, they're still languishing a little bit, shall we say. Looks like over in this area here we are full up, so we might expand this school as well. Where does this school operate? It probably should also operate in Mosman as well. And I've noticed two issues. This area here both doesn't have a district and also doesn't have a school. So we'll look to set up a new district covering off this sort of area here. It's going to be a fairly big one. And of course we can always split it up should we need to in future. Oh. So we'll call this area Blue Gum Hills. I did actually just have a crash. Luckily, there was either a crash save or I just happened to save just before, so we were able to recover all the work we did. And Blue Gum Hills, as I said, does not have an elementary school. I don't think it has any schooling at all, really, does it? So that is also an issue. We are getting up there towards where we need to be, I guess. So I think an elementary school in Blue Gum Hills is probably important. I reckon we might be able to fit it in one of the gaps we've left, potentially. Could definitely fit in here, but I think we've got some plopped buildings there. What have we got here? We've got a medical clinic, so we might just massage some of this stuff around a little bit. Some people won't be happy with that. Some of the residents, potentially anyway. But I think we should. No, that's not a good one. No. We'll need to remove some houses potentially. Thumbs down indeed. I'm not proud of it. But it had to happen. Okay, where else? It's also unfortunate that we're removing houses or looking to remove houses to get a park in. I don't know if that is the best decision. So hopefully we can squeeze in an elementary school next door. I don't know. Don't know if we'll be able to. It looks like our school is just going to overlap. Tell you what, let's just stick you there for the moment. Get our school in. And let's see. Can we get you in anywhere? Let's turn off snapping and see if we can get it just to fit on the corner here. Good enough. So there we go. We've got our elementary school in this area here. It will service Blue Gum Hills and Parker Heights as well, just because there's very little population in Blue Gum Hills. So I think it makes sense to extend it out a little bit more, I think. It looks like this area here is probably our last sort of location where we're a little bit lacking in schooling. So we've got the two elementary schools here servicing Kookaburra Hills, Concord, and Concord Bluff. And they are all full. So I reckon one school will probably fix this up. And there's a few places that might work. No. I mean, yeah, they still might work. They're just not exactly where I thought they would be. So I think we can just get a school in... Negative. If we turn it on its side, a little bit better. So we'll just smooth out the terrain. Now, if we set the same operating districts on this one, how is that going to cover our demand? So it's heading up already. These two schools are already full, but oh, we're so close. We need 1,000 more capacity somewhere. The question is, where are the people that aren't getting an education? Is it still in this area here in our CBD? Let's have a look. Full. Okay. So it is still CBD that is struggling a little bit. Could we get something in here? I think it makes sense. We're going to need to remove some buildings, but I think it'll still work quite well. So you will cover Highcrest, Azure Delta, and say University of Azure Delta as well. And let's just see what happens now. Looking at our eligibility versus our capacity, we're 90 short of fully covering our eligible students. Is that enough? I mean, it might need to be for the moment. Because I don't want to spend all day, just building schools. I want to get something new built. And that brings us to today's big build. And I'm looking at this island here, and you're probably wondering what I've got planned. The Azure Delta Gateway project is set to revolutionize how people come to Azure Delta, how they bring in goods, how they send out their produce. And it's all based around this island here. You're probably wondering what we're going to be doing with it. Well, we are going to be doing a number of things. So we are, first of all, going to be moving some of our industrial capacity from Wallaby Island over to the gateway. We'll also be looking to get in our airport, as well as moving some of our cargo ship terminals over into this area as well. And we're hoping that this will allow us to centralize a lot of our noxious uses while still keeping them, fairly convenient to the city, fairly convenient to consumers and producers. So I just want to have a look. First of all, I've never even pulled up the airport in this game before, so hopefully we've actually got the space to build it. And if we don't, well, yeah, it's just something we'll have to think about, won't it? So I'm going to get the international airport unlocked. Hopefully that's all we need. So we already have our cargo, so I think that is actually all we need. And I'm hoping it is because we don't have any more progression points available. So let's have a look. International airport. Whoo! Whoa! It's massive. I love it though. What about a regular airport? Not as massive. Okay. That's okay. I was actually considering, should we sort of dredge out some parts of the Delta and sort of build in some of the other parts? And it looks like that's probably going to be our option. And that's okay. I'm reasonably happy with that. It's going to mean we're going to need to do a lot of digging and stuff like that. So I think what we'll do, we'll take sort of one of these brushes and we're just going to dredge out a lot of this. I mean, it's not even dredging. We're literally just getting rid of an island. Is this realistic? I mean, probably not at all. But it's okay. It's fine. What do we got there? What is that? Is that just a rock? A ruined stone head formation. I think we're going to need to move that. That is probably something important for us to preserve. Might just stick it here for the moment, though. Question is, do we join this onto the mainland? I considered not, but I think we're probably going to need to fit everything in. My hope is that this isn't going to disrupt the flow of water in such a way that it floods the city. Because we do have obviously a few sort of rivers and things coming down here. So hopefully that doesn't happen. But, sometimes things goes wrong, I guess. And you've got to be ready for that, don't you? Do I think this is ridiculous? Yeah, a little bit, to be honest. I mean, it does happen in real life, doesn't it? These sort of dramatic transformation projects. I'm sure they do. I'm sure they do. We might leave this this sort of bit here. I guess we could say we might even sort of extend this higher part to give us a bit of like coverage and stuff like that. Just to, I guess, protect the rest of the town or the rest of the city from some sort of noxious stuff. Let's see if we can use a noise brush. Yeah, actually, it's not too bad. So we've got this sort of semi-mountain range, not really a mountain range, that will shield the city from some of the more noxious parts of this land use. Hopefully it'll help prevent pollution from going over as much, and hopefully it'll guard against some of the noise as well. Now, I think it would be grand if we could get these sort of quite square and potentially build some key walls just to make it look a little bit nicer. I think we might try and use alleys to make that happen. So I'm going to try and make this reasonably straight. Like so. And then we can do the same thing in this direction as well. Get that as a 90. And then I think we're going to take our brush strength or brush size right down. We're going to try and I want to reduce the brush strength as well. We're trying to sort of dig in. Right, now we're going to use the key wall tool. And build key walls all the way around. Now, International Airport, how are we looking? I would say we're looking pretty decent. We still need to flatten out a portion of area, but overall, pretty good. So what I'm going to do to make this fit nice and snug, we will get our airport. I'm going to place it on this little road, which apparently we can't do because we are allegedly in water. Okay, we've got a little bit of water there. Fair enough. So what we're going to do, we're going to place initially the airport on the quay wall, which probably doesn't make a lot of sense at the moment. We've also got a little bit of water there. And that's just going to allow us to sort of work out what the boundaries of this are going to be. So I'm going to take a road. I'm just having a look at what it looks like here. Because we obviously have got some roads in here as well. Interesting as well, we've got a train station coming in as well. So what I'm going to do, we'll get a four-lane divided road. I'm going to run it along the back side of the airport, and then we will move it and then place it on this road here. Anyways, it's saying we're on water at the moment. I'm guessing because we've got like a little bit of water sitting there. Fair enough, I guess. Need to try again, or we could just use anarchy, I suppose. And how are we looking there? I think that is pretty good. Got a little bit of flooding happening, but it's okay. She'll be right. And of course, we've got this area over here as well, which we could use for maybe something else. Not 100% sure what we'll do there, to be honest. Yeah, we've got some weirdness going on here, actually. Is this all flat? I don't think it is. No, it should be flat, shouldn't it? It is. I don't know, it might have just been weird because I moved the... Yeah, okay, that's fine there. The weird thing we've got here is the train station, which seems odd. I suppose we, rather than having a road going along it, we would just have a loop, wouldn't we? That'll allow us still to make the train connection. Interestingly, it doesn't look like the airport is actually allowing us to take our sea level all the way in to sort of make these keys look good, but I think it's okay. You can still see that it's a little bit higher, can't you? We do have a bit of sitting water, which is not ideal for an airport, so hopefully that evaporates before too long. Now, the big question is what we're going to do with the rest of this area, because we've obviously got a lot of area now to play with. I think probably we will have this Hickory Highway acting as our sort of gateway into the area. We can have sort of a bit of a link road, motorway link road type thing that will, you know, bring our passengers all the way in. But we also need to have a few more exits to get off if you want to go to maybe, you know, the ports that are running alongside this, things like that. I think we'll probably try and get our ports in over here. We might need to dredge back a little bit so that they sort of fit in nice and neatly. I think we should be able to get at least 2 ports in there, I think. Hopefully they'll be at a bit of a better height than they are here, because this is way too high. And we could possibly get some rail yards in here as well. Could even get a cruise harbour in here as well, actually. That probably makes sense to have in this area. Let's have a look. Our cargo harbour, how does it look? I think we can definitely get in a few. Well, as it turns out, I recorded this episode way too long, so I'm actually going to have to cut it here. We've probably got another 45 minutes of content that I will either release tomorrow or next week. I'm not sure. You're probably noticing there's barely any content coming out right now. I do apologize for that. I have had a lot on right now. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the first half of this video. If you have, please give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and ring that notification bell so you get a ding to your device the next time I post a video. You'll find links to my social media in the description, so please jump on there, like, follow, subscribe, do all that wonderful stuff. Big shout out to my Founders Club patron, Caleb. Caleb, thank you so much for helping to make this content possible. If you want to help out at home, you can do so by joining up at patreon.com/BobDendry, by joining as a member of the YouTube, or you can also leave a super thanks on this video if you want to give a one-off thanks for the content. But until next time, I'm Bob Dendry. This is Cities Skylines 2. Thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.